Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling, and shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today, where we'll be relaxing as per usual. I'm going to be doing a bit more recording of stuff today. I did some very late night recording of Happy in Paradise yesterday, which probably won't be doing as much today, but you know, today I'm going to trying to get a video of all of them, all the series recorded, to be honest. But yeah, what are we going to talk about today? That's a great question. I don't even have a title for today's Okami episode. I should probably do that. I'll keep that open just so I remember. What are we going to talk about? I don't know. Hello there, everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 1:11 p.m. on Wednesday, August 21st, 2024. It's almost 11:11. You can make half a wish, or 3/4 of a wish, I suppose. That's a thing I'm not really sure like where that came from. This sort of 11:11 thing. Because I remember me learning about it in primary school for the first time, that someone said it's 11:11, make a wish. But of course, you know, that's nothing I ever heard before, at least like from my family or anything like that. So I remember them saying it and me just being like, I don't think I said it out loud, but internally I was just like, what? Are we meant to make a wish? But if you don't know what I'm talking about, because maybe you're like me, but at least from people I've heard growing up, that there is a superstition, I guess is the right word, where if you look at the clock at a random time and it's exactly 11:11, I guess it has to be a digital clock. I'm not sure if it theoretically works with analog clocks. It's meant to be like, oh, you can make a wish then because it's like a lucky minute or something. I don't really know the justification for it, to be honest, but it's something like that. I don't know. There's a lot of different superstitious things where you're meant to like make wishes on, right? Like if an eyelash comes out, you're meant to like throw it over your shoulder and make a wish or something. I don't know the rest of it. Let's see, 11:11 time wish. 11:11 signifies a time where the universe is listening to you. Okay, why do people make a wish at 11:11? Where does it come from? Numerology. It's a power number. Spiritual significance of some kind. Okay. Sure. I don't know. Obviously, the superstitious things are, at the end of the day, superstition, right? They don't... I'm trying to think of a superstition which does actually hold much ground, but most of them are just like, you know, confirmation bias, right? Something happened to someone at one point, they did it, and you know, it worked, and people try it as well, and they seek out things which confirm their theory rather than things which deny their theory, or they make excuses or like write off things which deny their theory. Everyone's subject to it, myself included. I'm sure there's plenty of times in the past where confirmation bias affected my own judgment and opinion of things. But that doesn't mean superstition things can't be like fun. I guess I sort of lump it into the same sort of category I lump like horoscopes and astrology into. Do I believe in them? No, I think they don't hold much of a scientific ground. There's not really much basis for them. Anything which is related is more like correlation rather than necessarily causation, maybe. There are very few things which might be directly related, like walking under a ladder. Probably bad luck if something's on top of a ladder and it falls on you. That's the example people use. But that doesn't mean I'm not subject to my own sort of sense of superstitions, you know. I'm trying to think of like good examples. Like, even though I knew logically stepping on a crack doesn't break your mother's back or anything like that, still avoided it as a child. Now it's not like I particularly, well, maybe now I sort of like subconsciously do so. I don't really know, to be honest. I'm sure there's some sort of lasting effect. I wouldn't walk under a ladder for the same reason, although that's maybe more of a practical one. Maybe someone's on a ladder. It seems a little insane if someone's on a ladder to walk underneath it. That's genuinely like not illegal, but really weird behavior, like crazy almost. But there's a lot of like superstitious things I'm sure I still sort of like subscribe to. Do I still make a wish on my birthday when I blow out birthday candles? Yeah, I don't see why not. Shooting stars? I don't really see many shooting stars, but maybe I do. Do I still hope and wish for things to happen quietly under my breath, knowing that I don't have some sort of supernatural influence or force over the world? There is no wish granter listening to me who is actually going to make my wishes come true. Yeah, still kind of not in a way that I'm like relying on these things to happen, but sometimes, you know, when I'm just like, like I really hope for, I'm trying to think of a good example, like, you know, I'm waiting for a delivery and Just be like, oh, I really hope a delivery. Well, I don't really hope a delivery comes today. I'll be like, oh, it'd be so much more convenient if a delivery came. Well, it should have been yesterday, but then it didn't. Side tangent here. Had a delivery, waiting for it to come. Checking the tracking updates. If you watch your Okami episode, you stop every now and then, being like, I thought I heard something, and then seeing nothing. Then I check the delivery tracker. I check it and it said, oh, we tried to deliver 5 minutes ago, and no one was home. And I was like, what? I literally saw no one drive up ever. Nothing ran. And I ran downstairs, looked up and down the street, and I couldn't see any delivery driver. And they were like, we left a card to be like, what we've done with your delivery. And I was like, there's no card. And I was like, okay, well, so clearly you didn't even try and deliver, or you delivered to the wrong address. And I was like, oh, okay, well, fine. Called them. This is calling them out here, I suppose. Parcel Force is not Royal Mail. Royal Mail are actually pretty good, I'm going to be honest. But Parcel Force, it's the first time I think I've had big issues with them. Called them, and it was just like, what's going on? And they're like, oh, who knows? Can we redeliver? No, we don't have your address. Okay, whatever. I do redelivery through website, and they're like, we don't have your address. And I'm like, here's my address. And I'm like, okay, we'll do it tomorrow. So who knows when this delivery's coming. If they fail to deliver it again, I'm just going to be like, come on, man, what are you doing? At least try, I mean, if at the end of the day, I kind of think about this a lot. What does a consumer want? They want transparency and communication, right? I just want to know. Don't tell me you're going to deliver it today if you're not going to deliver it today. Just I don't know. I know it's probably not necessarily the delivery driver's fault. Maybe it's management having insane demands on how much they have to deliver. And so I saw it was a very common thing where sometimes they'll just say, oh, couldn't deliver it because they need to catch up with their quota, essentially, which I'm just like, that's kind of a fault in management. It shouldn't be like that, it's, so I'm not gonna shoot the messenger, I suppose, for that. But at least update the tracking thing and just tell me what's happening with it. Anyway, never mind. Well, we'll see if there's a delivery later today or not. But yes, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, lucky things or wishing. Did at some point I'd be like, oh, I really hope it comes today because it'll be convenient. Yeah. Did I wish up the same way I'd wish upon a star for it to come today? I guess not. I mean, I'm sure things happen. I'm trying to think of a good. It's not so relevant anymore, I suppose, now that I don't really take exams or something, but certainly during school time, being like, oh, I really, I wish I did well on that exam, or I really hope I did well. Most of the times I don't really do that. It's normally if I think I did badly on an exam. When I always remember Mechanics 3, that maths exam, I was like, oh man, I really screwed it up. I was doing terribly. I remember I was trying to do first question. I was like, I couldn't do the first question. And I was like, whoa, this is not good. I'm meant to be good at maths. And I looked at the second one. I'm sure maybe in my panic, I was like, I couldn't do this one either. I could do the third one, right? I mean, I went back to the first two I did them. And then I remember talking afterwards, just being like, oh man, and I was super panicked. And then I realized I made a mistake on the first question. I was like, no, small mistake still. That's very much a moment I was wishing to myself, please, I wish I did well on my Mechanics 3 exam. I did do well enough. I got 91 still, so obviously I was sort of panicked for nothing. Well, panic's not the right word. I suppose my wishing was unneeded. If that was one of my 3 genie wishes, I'd certainly a bit of a waste to use it on a maths exam for A level. Anyway, yeah, I mean, there's certainly times you wish upon things. I can't say I've done the 11:11 thing all that often, but I guess I don't often check the time. I mean, it's just a numbers game. How often do you check the time and go, oh, it's 11:11? And to be fair, I also tend to use 24-hour clocks for everything. I suppose it's ironic that the clock on screen right now is not 24-hour, but I tend to use 24-hour clocks for everything. So even then, I've got half as many opportunities to look at a clock and see it being 11:11. Because presumably on a 24-hour clock, when it's a 23:11, it's not the same, We should have a conversation about 24-hour clocks at some point as well. I think in 24-hour time. I don't think in 12-hour time. In my brain, if you say 1, I don't think 1 p.m. I think 1 a.m. Immediately. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh man, I just thought of a great anecdote for that, but I'm going to save that for when I remember to talk about 24-hour clocks, because it's a really funny one. Anyway. Yeah, sorry. So wishing on a specific time, or wishes in general. I'm trying to think when do I normally wish for something? I guess when something bad happens, or if I want something good to happen. Something a big major milestone or something, which is conditional. It is unknown whether it's like only it's probable, I suppose. Might wish on something. That's true. That's true. What else might I wish on? Birthdays I covered. Don't really do birthday cakes and candles too much often anymore, I'd say. But when I blow out the candles, I do make wishes. Although I'm going to be honest, you know, it might be bad luck, I suppose, to say it out loud, but they're sort of general well-being wishes. But they aren't like, I don't wish for specific things, just sort of like, you know, happy life, healthy life, etc., etc. Or happy and healthy year. I feel like you got to keep your scope within reason, you know. You might say that's a bit of a boring wish, but you know, I think that's a very good wish. Who doesn't want a happy life, and who doesn't want a healthy life? You know, just feels like sort of nice things to have, right? 11/11, don't really do that. What other sort of like things do you wish on? Because there's like a lot of superstitious like lucky things, right? Like 4-leaf clover. I don't think I've ever seen or like ever randomly found a 4-leaf clover. Yeah, again, I don't really go looking in clover patches all that much, to be honest. So it's definitely sort of numbers game at that point. Isn't there something about throwing salt over your shoulder? I don't remember what that one is, to be honest. What else is meant to be lucky? Like a rabbit? Rabbit foots? I don't know why that one's meant to be lucky. I don't have a rabbit foot. Nor do I really plan on getting one. Lucky horseshoe? I'm going to be honest, not seen many horseshoes in my life. Or like, held or used a proper horseshoe. That's definitely much more of a dated thing, isn't it? Saying that, I did know a couple of people who owned horses. But they weren't like farriers? Is that the term for people who like change horseshoes? So I don't know if they had horseshoes themselves or something, or maybe they just hired someone to change their horseshoes. Or anyway, I've never been there when they've been changing a horseshoe, so I've never really held them. What else in like lucky? A rainbow? But I feel like you see rainbows too often to reasonably wish upon each rainbow. You know? I'm not saying it happens all the time, but like, how often do I see? Well, I don't know. I guess this kind of depends on your way of life. Maybe it's because it rains reasonably frequently in the UK, so when it rains and it's still like somewhat sunny, as long as it's not super cloudy, yeah, pretty reasonable that you will see a rainbow. But like, to me, I feel like if you make a wish on something, it's meant to be like a rare situation, right? It's not meant to happen particularly frequently. It's meant to be every so often. A rare event happens, and then you make a wish on it. That's kind of like the entire point, I think. But some of them are too common. See a penny, pick it up, or then all day you'll have good luck. Pennies are on the ground like all the time. Walk through a big city, you'll probably find like multiple pennies on the ground at some point. And there's no way you can always have it. I'm like turning this into like a Seinfeld bit or something. What's the deal with lucky pennies? Are you telling me this penny contains all the luck for one day? And I'm the one who picks it? Okay, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. I haven't even seen Seinfeld. I just sort of know its vibe, maybe. But yeah, you know, like, what is a rare thing? Shooting star. That's pretty rare. I can understand that being something lucky to wish on. 11/11. This was under a category. This happens too often. It happens literally twice, technically, a day, depending if you use 12-hour clocks or not. And clocks are rather ubiquitous, which means, you know, that's too often you can be making wishes. I think something in my brain thus means it's like, because of the frequency of a wish, that must mean it's like less powerful in wishing power. So all the wishes that you make when you see 11/11 should be very small. Being like, oh, you know, I hope I have like a nice moment which makes me laugh today or something. That's like the level of wishes you have. And then if you see a penny, you'd be like, oh, you know, I hope my exam today goes well. And then if you see like a shooting star, you'll be like, oh, I hope I get my dream job one day or something. You know, so it's stuff like that, you know, it feels, I had never thought about this before, but the rarity of the event occurring of which you're meant to make a wish on should be proportional to the severity or the level of the wish you are wanting to make. That feels like law or something. That feels like how it should be. I don't know if that actually is. I mean, again, the superstition luck things probably don't really happen. I say probably, I guess you can't really empirically prove it. It's hard to prove, it's hard to disprove superstition-esque things. You can only, well, actually, is it hard to disprove? I guess probably the burden of proof should be on the superstitious thing in the first place, but because if things are so sort of like, what I mean is if things are such sort of like, flimsy is not the word, but like, fluffily is not the word either, like ambiguously, that's the word, defined, then you can kind of like move a goalpost and stretch any different definition to meet what you want, you know. See a penny, pick it up, then all day you'll have a good luck. Then all day you'll have good luck. Literally, good things happen to you probably every day, hopefully. Because it's a rare situation where only bad things happen to you that day. So then you can just sort of cherry pick and be like, oh, that good thing happened was because of a penny you picked up. And you can't disprove it because you can't go back in time and not pick up that penny. So maybe, conspiracy theory hat on, this entire world does work on this sort of luck principle. There are lucky things and chances which happen, which increase your luck, I suppose, for the day, for your week, your month, or even your year. And we just don't know it because it's not something that we can define. Because a lot of things might just happen anyway. Like, luck is always very interesting. Because it's a very, like... Is it a real thing? Yeah, like being lucky is. Like, you can have improbable events happen. You would define that as being lucky. But is it like an inherent stat, a property that people could have, you know, which makes them, like, inherently luckier than someone else? I guess, like, technically no, but also technically yes. And what I mean by that is, like, some people have to be, like, above the bell curve in terms of, like, lucky things happening. If you have, like, some sort of metric which you can quantify lucky things happening to, which I guess is you would have to assign, like, a probability to literally everything that happens in your life and the probability of that happening. Someone has to be near the top of the bell curve, which then I guess you would define as them being a luckier person than average. Right? But it doesn't feel right to say, like, it's an inherent property that someone has, you know? Like, how smart, how intelligent is someone? That you would, I think most people would be very fair. Like, yeah, that's a property, like, it's a mental property. That is a characteristic people can have. How lucky someone is feels, I don't know, to me it feels weird to say that in anything but, like, a joking or, like, a sort of whimsical sort of way. Not in a way which is sort of, like, more grounded in reality. Because I guess maybe it feels weird because it's hard to sort of, like, empirically, metrically describe, you know. It feels like it should be easy just to mathematically say, oh, you know, things of lower probability happen to you more than the expected number of occurrences you would get through a certain fixed time period. It feels like that should, like, that's a very easy mathematical definition for what luck could be, but it still feels weird to say someone has, like, a sort of, like, higher luck than someone else. Like, someone is stronger than someone else. That's, like, a very normal thing. Someone is luckier than someone else, I guess. But I don't know. This is my mathematical brain just being like, everything sort of, like, evens out in the end. But also, I guess some people need to be outliers. That's just kind of how it works. I don't know where I'm going with all of this. Anyway, if it's 11/11, make a wish. That's a lucky thing, theoretically. But in my opinion, tone down your wish. Make sure it's within reason. And on that note, I'm going to wrap this episode off here. I have no idea what I'm talking about. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling, and likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope we see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.